Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast and I'm making today's recording at home, so I expect to hear some noise in the background because it's late at night and everybody's home. Now, the goal of this podcast is tackling business problems, so issues with customers, marketing, side hustles, something holding your business back, then this is the show for you. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. And if you'd love to connect, you can call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080 64662140. Today is going to be another diary episode, but I apologize in advance because, to be honest, this diary episode, man, it don't take. So I might have forgotten some of the things that I would have loved to emphasize over here on the podcast. But let me just go through my notes anyway and see what I can dredge up, see what I can remember. Now, this was a live call review session that I'm doing with one of my clients. Now, typically, when I do this sort of thing, I like to be, face to face, flesh to flesh. Like, I'm over here, I'm sitting down, you're over there, you're sitting down, we're chilling, we're across the desk, and you're getting ready to make some phone calls. And then we talk you through a couple of things. Like, oh yeah, before we call, what's the game plan? Now, this step is really important because lots of you, before you call somebody, like you just call and you just freestyle, and unfortunately, like it's the wrong way to go about it. You can't just be picking up the phone and just be freestyling anyhow. When you want to call a particular person, you need to have some game plan, some outline, like what do I want to achieve on this call? And it happens with every single prospect. Now, the best that can happen is maybe sometimes you're talking to contacts or prospects that you met or they met you in a similar way. And so because of that, the conversation framework is going to be the same. Like in this case, it's for, of course, my three musketeers, Shen, Elsie, and Rudolph. But in this case, it was Shen that we're talking about. And it was calling customers that responded to the company's Facebook advertisements. Now, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, don't worry, you'll catch up. But there's plenty of episodes in the back. Just try and listen. By the time you listen to like 2 weeks worth, you'll hear some more diary sessions where you will get the proper background as to who these three people are. But just suffice to say that, they sell solar equipment. The company is based in Lagos, and then I am their trainer. I'm trying to make sure that they know how to have conversations with people the right way, especially conversations that convert people into becoming customers at the end of the day. So, anyway, yeah, so that's it. It was nice to have an outline, what I want to achieve on this call. And that's the reason why I keep giving you guys this general outline for conversations: greeting, intention, question, proposal, close. Always start off with an appropriate greeting. Write that thing down on paper. Then, intention, you need to be able to get to it quick. Let this person know why are you calling. Questions, because always as salespeople, we suppose have questions. These questions that will help us understand who is this person, what's the problem, what do they need. It is when we gather all that info, we'll now be able to move to the next step, which is proposal. Proposal is the part where you say, okay, madam, I've heard you. Based on what I've heard, I really think this is what we should do next. And that's one thing that is missing from lots of you who are trying to close the sale. How can you finish a conversation and just say, okay, I'll be in touch? Like, what kind of rubbish is that? What do you mean I'll be in touch? That conversation is going nowhere. You just sat down, you were just talking friendly talk, and then say, okay, I'll be in touch. Like, no. There should be something you propose. You are the salesperson. Be in charge of the conversation. You're on, I'll say, okay, based on what we've discussed, I think the next step is, let me send you a proposal, blah, blah, blah. Or the next step is, let's go for site visit. Or the next step is, you've been having one or two objections. Okay, you know what? Let me send my engineer. Let them come on site so that the engineer will see what's going on. But you should be proposing something on every single call. Don't finish a call and say, so we'll be in touch. No, that's rubbish. I'll be in touch is rubbish. And if you've been saying I'll be in touch, knock yourself on the head right now. And then listen to this podcast so you can find out better things to do. So I'll be in touch is rubbish. So that's proposal. Then the final stage is close. Close is when you get the person to take action on that specific thing you're proposing. So if you say, okay, Madam Oga Linus, the next thing is, you know what, I think engineer should come and see what's up so that we'll be able to figure out what's going on. And if Oga Linus says, yeah, you know what, that didn't make sense. The next thing is, oh yeah, Oga Linus, my engineer is free Wednesday, Thursday. How far? Will anybody be on site Wednesday, Thursday? That's you closing. You're trying to narrow down on what the next course of action is. He will say, no, I'm not available Wednesday, Thursday. What about Saturday? Say, okay, Saturday, no problem. I can send somebody on Saturday. And then say, Saturday, what time? Morning, afternoon, or evening? I will go to church. So, like around that kind, 2 p.m. It's okay, no problem. 2 p.m. My engineer will call you at 10 a.m. to confirm. Shida is okay. So, no problem. You now got the phone. Man, that's it. Close. You've gotten Oga Linus to take action. You people have agreed. You put it down on calendar. Of course, remember that Oga Linus is going to forget. So as soon as you're done, you send the conversation. Oga Linus, pleasure talking to you concerning your so and so project. Remember, just as we agreed, engineer will be coming to the site on Saturday. He will call you around that kind 10 a.m. You will see on site at 2 p.m. That's it. Then you also schedule reminders for during the week. That's simple. But either way, before you pick up the phone, in your head, just have one small outline. Say, well, not in your head, because write it down first. If you're new, be writing it down. After a while, the thing will become internalized. So for me, it's internalized. But I still keep the discipline. If I'm calling somebody, I have pen, I have paper. If I'm receiving phone call, I have pen, I have paper. Now, I take some calls on the move. When that happens, I try to limit the agenda to just one thing so I can remember. Because if we go and discuss 4, 5, 6, 7 things, it's wahala. So I try and limit the agenda to one thing. And I say, you know what, Madam H, I'm on the road right now, but I understand that you want us to discuss this particular part of the project and that particular part of the project. So how about we do it this way? I'm in motion, ma. So please give me like 2 hours. By the time I get to my desk, let me call you back. Then we'll discuss all these other issues. But at least this 1 and 2, I remember those ones. We'll just take it from there. So, always come up with an outline. Then this formula that I gave, very, very simple. Very, very simple. Always use it. Greeting. Appropriate greeting. Intention. Why are you calling? Question. Ask them question. Understand what's going on. Proposal. When you understand what's going on, you make an adequate proposal. And then close. Get them to take action. Schedule something on the calendar. Both of you agree. What is the next step? Am I going to do something for you? Are you going to do something for me? Are we going to do something together? Are we going to go somewhere? Are you going to send me something? Am I going to send you something? But shall I schedule something? Propose something. If I catch any of you saying, I'll be in touch, I will knock you on the head. That's rubbish. Excuse me. So, sorry, I forget that there are some people who are listening to this podcast that are 65 and older. Please, my seniors, it's not people that I'm talking to. I can't go and be knocking my father's mate on his head or her head for that case. If I can't knock my mother on her head, that's not possible. So, so the first call now was shown. We did our live call session, and this is how the call went. So, where was I? So he called now. I won't say the person's real name. And I've already told you guys about data enrichment. That's the last podcast episode I made, so I won't repeat myself here. If this is your first time listening to it, and you hear data enrichment, and you're wondering, which one is data enrichment? Is there something like data poverty? Listen to the last episode. You understand. It will all be clear. And make sure that when you call, you will do data enrichment. So after data, we didn't do data enrichment. In fact, you even see why data enrichment is impossible in this case, because we did not do it. If we had done it, there would have been 1 or 2 things that would have seen that would have helped us to plan and anticipate certain elements during the call. So we called the guy. Remember that Sheon, Elsie, and Rudolph, they're solar sales. So we called the guy, and the client said that he was interested in 15 kVA installation with 10 solar panels. So once he went very specific like that, this is the problem with my team. Sheon just assumed that, you know what? Anybody who calls it a very specific request, the person knows what they're saying. Because that guy, he sounded like he knows what he was saying. He sounded like it. And it's something I've been trying to tell salespeople that, You know what? Don't assume that everybody knows what's up. You're the sales professional, so you are the specialist. Until you know to the contrary, assume that you're the one who knows what's up. So don't just assume that, okay, this person sounds like they know what they want, therefore they know what they want. It's not the case. You are the professional. It is something I learned early when I was a wedding photographer. Some brides want some kind of photos to be taken in some locations. I'm the one who is the professional. I have to tell them that, look, madam, this thing that you want to shoot cannot be shot. Except if, we rough it and then later on we'll do it in Photoshop. But what you want to do cannot be done. Can't. And we need to get into the habit of asking people why. This thing that you say, okay, why do you want it? What are you trying to achieve? So that you can give your own professional opinion and say, bros, based on what you're saying, this configuration that you've called, code tap, it's not going to work. Anyway, he did a bit of that because, I don't understand this solar mathematics, but he was telling the guy that the number of solar panels is not going to be enough for the setup. The guy said, I understand, but, based on budget, let me just start here. I know that later on I'll have to upgrade. Then the client also asked about, the possible client asked about financing options. Sheon told the guy, no problem, financing is there. You drop 30% down, and then this is how you liquidate the rest of it over the next couple of months. The guy said, it sounds interesting. Then we also figured out that the client was based in Lagos. So Sheona told the guy that, okay, you know what we'll do is I'll prepare something so that you and I will discuss later. So I can call you again by so and so. The guy said, no problem, call me anytime. And then they ended the conversation. So I now asked everybody, Rudolph and Sheon, Rudolph and Elsie, let's assess, how did the call go? Now, some of you will say that conversation was all right. And truly, the conversation was all right now. Because Sheon demonstrated his knowledge and expertise in advising the guy. His composure was on point. They were flowing. So, all was well. Very good. But by the time I asked some questions, a couple of things became clear. Me, I'd already noticed it. I just wanted other members of the team to see it themselves. And then what we decided was that there were some elements that were missing. The thing is, before any of you are preparing quote for somebody, not just in solar, but in whatever business you are, before you prepare quote for somebody, you need to ask some kind of detailed questions so you know exactly what it is that you're quoting for. So Rudolph, who is the oldest member of the team, oldest as per he's been working longest, he said they should have asked more questions like number of air conditioners, number of water pumps, things like that. Elsie said we should have asked about exact location and whether the property was residential or business. So these are some basic questions that we missed, because remember, when Sheon heard the guy give very exact recommendation, 15 kV installation, 10 solar panels, as in the guy, he said it like he was a pro. Sheon just assumed this guy knows what he wants. He said, this guy is probably an engineer. And I say, Sheon, how do you know? I've been telling you, let's not assume. Anything that we assume, we ask. Like, if that was your first impression, you say, bros, you really know, it seems like you know this thing very well. Are you an engineer? You hear what the guy says. Based on his response, you now know what is next. If the person says, yes, I'm an engineer, you now know that two of you can start talking technical, straight. But ask. Don't just assume that because the person sounds like he knows what. Ask. Nobody can come and bamboozle me by saying, I want to do a documentary. It's going to be a 3-camera shoot, something. The first thing I say is, okay, wow, okay, interesting. Looks like you've already thought this thing through. I'm already. Have you developed a treatment with any other person? I will ask. Say, yes, we developed a treatment with so and so company and, blah, blah. So, okay, how come you didn't go with them? Or what was the problem with the treatment you guys came up with? We will start asking. I will ask. I will not just assume that, this person has asked about this documentary as if they know all the specs, therefore this person is a pro. I will ask. And then we'll have a fruitful conversation. Then I'll be able to educate the person that, look, okay, you know what? You developed this treatment with somebody else for a 3-camera setup. But from what you're saying, to be honest, to execute this thing nice, we need a 5-camera setup, maybe a mixer on site. We need this, we need that. So, yeah, in my best opinion, this is how we need to carry this thing out. So, Oga Prospect, you really have a choice to make on your hands here. You know, you trust these other people and their expertise. Are you going to go with them, or do you buy into the vision that we have crafted out over here? And then I leave it up to them to decide. But I'm not going to take a hook, line, and sinker that somebody will come and tell me the specs for the shoot and just dictate, and I'll just say yes sir and then deliver. No, I am the one who is the professional. I'm the one who knows camera work. I will ask questions. So please, whenever you're with a customer or potential customer, or somebody calls with a very specific quote, don't let anybody bamboozle you. You are the pro. You've been doing this for a while. Except if this is your day one. Okay, if this is day one, and you haven't done anything, I understand. But for those of you who've been doing this thing 3, 4, 5 years, you have some expertise now. Ask some questions. So we all agreed. Yes, there were some issues that were outstanding. And so I told them, you know what? Let me call this guy back. But first I asked them, like, if I call back, will I spoil this thing? Because they are the ones who are professionals who sell solar. So I need to take dressing from them. So Rudolph, who's the oldest, who's been there longest, he said, look, Mr. Tav, if you call back, what exactly are you going to say? I'll say, look, I'm just going to say that, look, I'm a supervisor in the firm, and that my younger associate spoke to me about this deal. We're coming up with a proposal. Before we give the proposal, I need to ask a couple of more questions. So everybody agreed that, okay, if it's like that, no problem. That after all, I can pretend to be a supervisor. By the way, it's not a lie. I'm the sales trainer, yes. But in a way, I'm supervising them now. So, not lie. It's not a lie. So I said, no problem. So I took the guy's number. Then I gave a call. So when I called the person back now, and I started asking for more particular things, we now discover some background to the story that we did not know. The reason why we did not know is because we did not ask the questions. So in yarning with the guy, it became clear that, look, this project is not for residential, and it's not for office. Well, it's for business, but it's for a filling station. And what the guy wants to power is not the building that is next to the filling station. He wants to power the 4 pumps themselves. And then, of course, I asked him, this one that you say 15 kVA, blah, 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 is as if you have discussed this thing with somebody before. And the guy said, yes. In fact, 2 or 3 other businesses have come to do inspection. I said, yeah, they've come to do inspection. I said, yes. I said, this year, I said, can you remember the last time? The guy now started being cagey. Because, of course, when you're in sales, people don't want to give too much information. He said, well, sure, I was this year. And then I leaned in some more. I said, look, if that's the case, it's as if you're ready to execute on this thing. These 2, 3 quotes you've already got, why didn't you just go with any of them? And the guy said, it's based on budget now. I said, okay. In the advertisement, when you reached out to us, you indicated that, so let me look at 5. You indicated that between 5 to 10 M is the budget that is comfortable for you. Is that correct? The guy said yes. But I remember that time that Shane was trying to educate him, because me, I don't know solar. But at least I was listening to the conversation when Shane was trying to educate him about number of panels. So I said, let me just freestyle. So I told him, I said, bro, you know what? I know you've indicated 5 to 10 is realistic. I know you've looked at other proposals. But let's be honest here. If I go back and I talk to my technical crew, and they say that based on panel, based on everything, a realistic budget is more like 15. How far is 15? Is 15 doable? The guy laughed. I said, no, let's be straight now. Is 15 doable, or should we end it? The guy said, not only end it, we should kill it. I said, okay, 15 million, we should kill it. He said, kill it, we'll stop it there. I said, okay, no problem. But at least, with the way we spoke, now I know some parameters. It is filling station. It is 4 pumps. He wants to power 4 pumps without powering the lights. He gave me the kilowattage of the lights, and then for the office, just to power 1 fan. He's looking at between 5 and 10. If we stretch beyond 10, it's manageable. If we enter 15, we should just kill it. You can see that now I have my parameters. The parameters of the deal are taking shape, or the parameters of the proposal, like our understanding, everything now is beginning to take shape. And then, of course, I also asked that, okay, in case we need some photographs, somebody should just take small picture, send to our engineer so that our engineer can see. Is that okay? The guy said, sure, no problem. I said, what if we want to send somebody on site? He said, no problem. There's always somebody there. There's always somebody there. Now, of course, how soon are you willing to take action, on this thing? He didn't give me timeline because, some people like to be cagey, but he says soon. He says soon. He said very soon. I said, okay, no problem. My guy will call you back later. He's going to be in touch. You guys are going to orally discuss some setups. Then, based on where we're looking at budget wise, after that, we'll now send a proposal. So, how about that? Is that cool? The guy said, okay. I said, oh, sorry, before I go, I forgot to confirm. Where's the location? He gave me the location. It says Abu Legba in Lagos. I've been in Lagos in a while, so when I was scribbling Abu Legba, I was even now thinking, how do you spell Abu Legba? Anyway, I just wrote rubbish on my notes. See, this is the reason why we should be keeping pen and paper handy. Because the thing is, when you're talking to customers, all kinds of details are dropping. They're dropping details. If you're freestyling, as they are dropping, you are forgetting. So just pen and paper, just scribble, just be writing. Put it down. The importance of all these things is, as you put it down, go and put it on CRM. If you don't have CRM, that's customer relationship management tool, put it under the contact name in your phone so that any single time you want to call the guy and then you open the phone, let's say the guy's name is Romeo and Juliet. By the time you open your phone and you check Alhaji Romeo and Juliet, under details, you see this whole history. I called him on this date. This is what we yarned. After that, this is what we yarned. Proposal, this is what it was. You just see outline. Everything will now register in your head. You will now be able to call Alhaji Romeo and Juliet and have another productive conversation. But either we'll be writing some of these things down. So, like I said, there's a lot more things I wanted to emphasize, but I honestly can't remember because this was a while ago. But the main thing that I'm getting on this mic right now, and I'm making this recording, is I'm hoping in the future that Sean will listen to this and remember. And also, some of you who are in a similar situation, I'm hoping you guys will listen and take it to heart. But just know that you're the professional. When somebody calls you with a specific quote, be curious and ask, how did they arrive at it? Don't just assume that this person knows what's up. When the guy called, Sean assumed that because of the way this guy was talking, he assumed this guy is an engineer. Meanwhile, this guy is not an engineering nothing. He's not an engineer. He's just a normal entrepreneur like the rest of us who has gotten into oil and gas business. So, don't assume. All these things that we keep talking about on the podcast, qualification and discovery, the art of asking questions, the kind of questions to ask, the different qualification frameworks that are there, how you guide the conversation along, all these things are important. But the thing that I want to stress today is, please remember, you are the one that is the professional. Even if you've only been doing this thing 2 years, to be honest, your 2 years experience is more than the experience that your normal clients have. Please understand me. If you're a tailor and you've been tailoring 1.5 years, the experience that you have is more than the average experience that your other people have about tailoring. Take me, for instance. I woke up to a tailor and I start telling him, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that. And the guy says, okay, sir, okay, sir, okay, sir. No, you are the professional. Now ask question. Now, sir, this thing you're telling me, is it for you or for somebody else? Yeah, sir, no vex. But your body size now. If we make it like this, we're not too sweet, you're not too tap because of this, because of that. Sir, you know what? Because of your body size, we suppose consider like this, consider like, as in, have a conversation with this person. You are the professional. Because believe me, there are lots of times that the customer will come and say, give me this. You say, yes, sir. You go and give them exactly that. At the end of the day, what you gave them was inadequate. The quarrel will start. And that's the reason why Nigerian business people say customers don't know what they want. The problem is not with the customer. The problem is with you. You're not asking enough questions. Ask questions. And know that you are the professional in this situation. Of course, the time will come when you meet somebody who has expertise. When he has expertise, then, blend accordingly and go on technical. So for me, when I was in events as a photographer, I know that I was the professional, and I'll ask questions and I will give my opinion. I'll ask the questions that I need. There was one rare case that the bride, was a photography enthusiast. Her husband self is an enthusiast. Oh, that was a different conversation. We went technical Okay, you want like this, you want like this. I normally shoot depth of field. My aperture, I like between 1.8 and 2.8. I hope the aperture is okay for you. That kind of couple, they knew exactly what I was saying. The normal couple, by the time I say aperture, they glaze over. They say apegini. They wonder, what is this guy talking about? Anyway, so please just know that you guys are the professionals. Please ask enough questions. Ask enough questions before you give quote. Ask enough questions. I've done plenty of episodes about the kind of questions I should ask. Just keep listening to this podcast. These are the sorts of things that we talk about every now and then. So let me just wrap it up here. I think let me just stop here. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about on today's episode. So that's it, and that is all. So remember, if you'd love to connect, then call, SMS, or WhatsApp on 080-6466-2140. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you next time, same place, in your headphones or in your speakers.